Well, we know now that even the Syriac Christians would use that.
Everybody who spoke Arabic used Allah. It comes from Nabatean Aramaic.
Right.
It is ilah. It is the Arabic name for God. The Christians would have used Allah. The Zoroastrians would have used Allah. The Jews would have used Allah. Even the pagans would have used the word Allah.
Exactly. The Quran says the pagans use Allah.
Everybody uses the name Allah. That is not a Muslim.
And what's the name of Muhammad's father? Abdullah.
Abdullah, slave of God.
Exactly.
Now, interestingly, then in Muawiyah introduces another coin where it says Bismillah al-Malik. Al-Malik means the king. He's referring to himself.
That's right.
In the name of God, the king.
Right.
So he's basically looking at himself as a messianic figure. And yet, here he is, a Zoroastrian on the backside of that coin, proving that he is not a Muslim. There's nothing Islamic about any of these coins. Muslims have come to me and says, take a look. If you look very carefully, you can see that they have a moon and a star. Ah, that must be Muslim, because that's on the flags. No. The Sassanians, all your Persians, these are all in the east. These are all mints coming out of what is today Iran. Not then it was called Iran. It was called the Sassanid area. And all those mints, they would have all been Sassanian. And the symbol for authority in the Sassanid Empire from the 2nd century AD was a moon and a star. This has nothing to do with religion. It has to do with authority. It has to do with Persian authority. Now, so nothing about anything Islamic at all at this period. It's not till we get to 692. Come to look at the gold coin there. 692, he takes, this is Abdul Malik. He is the son of Marwan. He is of the Marwan Caliphate. They are the part of the family that have usurped the Sufyanis, who control from Muawiyah's time, from 661 up until about 680. Marwan comes to power. His son is the one that we said earlier in another episode. He is the one that now wants to really put down his identity, his Arab identity. And of course, he has to pay homage to good old Justinian II, the Byzantine emperor. And he's living in Damascus, so he's right up next to the Byzantine Empire. Again, living up in Damascus. What does he do? He introduces that first coin. That first coin has the image. It's a copy of the Byzantine gold and silver discs, but instead of Justinian and his two sons, he put his image and his two sons on it. And that's why he puts it down there, and he takes off the cross that's there, and he puts on the back side, you can see the cross piece has been taken off the Byzantine cross. It's a mockery of the Byzantine cross. Justinian gets so upset that he goes to war against Abdul Malik in 692. So what does Abdul Malik do? He then introduces the second one. Look where 693 is there. See that coin of himself? That's himself with a sword. Basically said, I'm going to war. And around the other side, including both of these coins, you have the La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, which is the Shahada.
Right.
But he's referring to himself as the praised one of God. He is the praised one of God. He's basically aggrandizing himself, just like Muawiyah did with Al-Malik, he's doing with Muhammadur Rasulullah. I am the praised one. He also introduces that on the Dome of the Rock. We talked about that earlier. Introduces that on the inner ambulatories of the Dome of the Rock. He also introduces that on the protocols in 691. The Caliphate Protocols, which are the official documents that we now have today, and that's where Yehuda Nevo has done his work. That is a declaration of war that he has right there. And then we get to 696. 696, he introduces those two golden coins and the silver ones above it. Those are a real declaration against Byzantine Christianity. Because if you look at them, he takes the images off completely and only uses Arabic script. This is the Shahada there. It has also chapter 4, verse 171 there. And it refers to the fact that God is not three, God is one, and he has no son. Well, who is that do you think that's attacking? He is attacking the Trinity, it's attacking Jesus' divinity, and it's attacking his sonship. Right. The three things that are at the root of everything we believe. That God, Jesus is God, that he is one of three, that he also is the Son of God and God the Father. At the same time, on the backside of the coin, they says, and he has no associates, that's again attacking Jesus, and we will be superior to any others who come against us. So this is really a declaration against Byzantine Christianity. From that time on, there are no more images. So the imagery is thrown out in 696. And from 696 all the way until today, no images are now permitted. So it has nothing to do with the traditional account that the Muhammad said this. Muhammad had nothing against, if there was a Muhammad, we now, as you're going to see later on, there is no Muhammad. But can you see the coins now show that this is sequence that happens from the beginning of 620, 630, 640. We have all these different rulers who are putting their images on, and you always put your image, you always put the date, you always put a icon of what religion you belong to. And in the West, they were all Christian. In the East, they were all Zoroastrian. That continues up through Muawiyah's reign, all the way up until Abd al-Malik, who then introduces finally I would say a Muslim nomenclature. That begins with him in 692, but is really put into place in 696. From 696 on, then you see that he then has all these claim after claim after claim against Byzantine Christianity. And the reason why, as we said in another episode, those were his greatest threat. His biggest competition were not the Sassanids, were not the Persians, were not the Zoroastrians. They were Byzantine Christianity, because they were the other superpower of his day. So this is a political statement, as Robert Spencer said on the live stream, and this is a theological statement. That's why the Dome of the Rock was built the same time these coins come out. Dome of the Rock was built the same time to show a one-upmanship. From that time on, from up until today, all the coins now have those kind of scripts on it. No more images. So if you look at the coins, you can see the sequence of how Islam started to begin. But this is just the beginning, the nascent Islam. This is not the Islam we know today. That we're going to yet to introduce. So hold on to there. Can you see how damaging these coins are?
So what are we going to cover next time?
We're then now going to go into the inscriptions. The rock inscriptions will be the next thing that support exactly what the coins are telling us. The rock inscriptions are telling us. Why should we be surprised? Surprised? I'm not. Because if you're going to look at the evidence from the 7th century and you're seeing what's on the ground, you need to follow the evidence as it's shown to you. As we said before, the more we scratch, the more we find. The more we find, the more we shine. The more we shine, the more they whine, oh, how sublime. Folks, that's exactly what we're going to find when we go into the next episode.
Well, fascinating. Thank you so much, of course, as always, for sharing this information with us. Hopefully everyone is enjoying these series, and you can see how we are rolling out, if you wish, the evidence for you concerning that question or concerning this quest, the quest to find the real Muhammad. Until next time, have a blessed day.